Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dan and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing something that I did a couple months ago. For those of you that saw the video, I did a ranking every Dream Theater album, just a week or two after I'd listened through their entire catalog. Now I hadn't really gotten to know their catalog properly at that time, and so I decided I needed to redo this list, and this is probably a more correct version of the list. This is how I would rank the albums as they stand now. Now that I've gotten to know some of their songs and figure out which one I like more than others. So, without further ado, let's get straight into the ranking. Also, I noticed that looking at a tier list for 15 minutes could be a bit boring, so here's a gif of John Petrucci talking. Enjoy. Alright, so to begin the list, I'm going to just put this one where it belongs, on F tier. As I said last time, When Dream and Day Unite is my least favorite album by Dream Theater. Not only is James Labrie not the vocalist, it's just not as good as the rest of their catalog. And yeah, so I don't think there's much left to say. But my favorite song on this album is It's a Jam, or however you pronounce it, so that's at least a good song in my opinion. Alright, next one. E tier would be, there it is, Dream Theater. Now, this album I like a little bit more than the previous one, only because of the song The Enemy Inside, which is one of my favorite Dream Theater songs ever. It's an absolutely amazing song, and that's the only reason why I'm putting it on E tier as opposed to F tier down with When Dream Day Unite. Alright, D tier. Falling into Infinity. Now, this album is also a bit better than the two previous ones, because it actually, in my opinion, it's just better writing, better production, everything. But also, the song Hollow Years has grown on me quite a bit as one of my favorite acoustic songs that they have done. And yeah, I just didn't think it'd be fair to put it any lower than D tier. I realize a lot of people love this album. For me, it's okay. It's not that impressive, but it's not awful either. But anyway, I think that's all I have to say for that one. Let's move on. Next one is also The Astonishing on D tier. Now, The Astonishing is an interesting album because, as opposed to many of their concept albums, this one is more built up like a musical movie, which is very interesting. However, I'm not completely convinced, and I won't say that they did pull it off properly. Though there are a couple of songs on this album that I like. Probably my favorite song on this album would be When Your Time Has Come. But some of the other songs like Better Life and The Astonishing and The Path That Divides are pretty good as well. That being said, I probably only like 6 or 7 songs out of the entire 2-hour long album, so I didn't think it'd be fair to put it any higher than this. So yeah, I think that'll be it for D tier. C tier, let's start with Distance Over Time. The last album that Dream Theater released, in my opinion, this is one of their most underrated. I actually think it's a pretty good and solid album. The song Barstool Warrior was very important to me, as it was one of the songs that got me into Dream Theater to begin with, alongside Metropolis Part 1. And because of that, I love the song, and the album as well has grown on me, with songs like Untethered Angel and At Wit's End. So I really do think it's an underrated album, my bad. I know a lot of people don't think that it's an overrated album at all. In fact, most people think it's quite garbage. I'd have to disagree with those people, but that's my subjective opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own. Anyways, next album. C tier, Awake. Now, Awake has grown on me a little bit over the past months, but I'd say, primarily speaking, it's not that good, in my opinion. Space Died West, Innocence Faded are probably the two better songs on the album, and I do thoroughly enjoy listening to the songs. But there's nothing else on the album that really grabs my attention, and therefore I can't say that I really enjoy this album. Though the album cover is one of their better ones. Actually, a very good cover. But anyway, I think that's all I have to say for C tier, so let's move up to B tier. Now, this one will be a bit controversial, but 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence. There's a simple reason for that. Though Misunderstood is probably one of my favorite songs ever, not just by Dream Theater, but ever. And The Glass Prison has probably my favorite Dream Theater riff. There is not a single other song on this album that interests me or intrigues me. They obviously have some good songs like About to Crash or The Great Debate, but in my opinion, the two songs that I mentioned first, Misunderstood and The Glass Prison, are the only very good songs on the album. And I can't say I enjoy the album any more than those two songs. I just think it wouldn't be fair to put it higher than B tier, considering there are so few songs on the album that I actually do like and do enjoy. Alright, anyways. Next song, or rather, next album. Train of Thought. Now, I'm not sure how I felt about Train of Thought at first. I don't like that many songs on the album. But Stream of Consciousness is probably my favorite Dream Theater instrumental. It's kind of hard to say if I prefer this one or Dance of Eternity. They're both amazing instrumentals. It's just hard to pick a favorite. And As I Am has... If The Glass Prison is my favorite riff, then As I Am is my second favorite riff by Dream Theater. It's an amazing kick-ass riff, and probably their coolest solo. Not necessarily their best, but their coolest solo in my opinion is on As I Am. As well as a kick-ass drum intro on Honor Thy Father. And just in general, some very good songs on the album. I thoroughly enjoyed the sound and production of the album as well. I know a few people that will probably disagree with me on the sound of the album. But as I said previously, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And in my opinion, Train of Thought is almost as good as 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence. So anyways, I think that'll do it for B tier. Let's move up to A tier. Alright, first album on A tier, Systematic Chaos. I believe I put it on A tier last time as well. My opinion has not changed from this album. I fucking love it. And just like Mike Portnoy said, I think it's one of their most underrated albums. Some of my favorite Dream Theater songs are also on this album in the form of The Ministry of Lost Souls and In the Presence of Enemy Part 1, as well as my favorite piano intro of any Dream Theater song in Forsaken. The album is just so good, and it has a very interesting style that I've never really heard anywhere else or in any other album, not even in any Dream Theater album for that matter. I think it's quite an interesting style they've chosen for this particular album, and I do thoroughly enjoy the music on it. And for not to mention, the album cover is pretty cool and unique, and the name of the album as well, Systematic Chaos. Anyways, next album. Alright, Black Clouds and Silver Linings. Now, what can I say about Black Clouds and Silver Linings? This is the last album with the 5 greatest members of Dream Theater. No offense to Mike Mangini, but Portnoy was just a shit ton better. Also, I fucking love the addition of lyrics that tell a story, like a realistic story. So I always enjoy songs like that try to tell a story based on personal experience. And so yeah, I do think this album is one of their greater ones. Count of Tuscany has one of my favorite intros that Dream Theater have done, as well as one of my favorite outros. I love the song. And in general, it's a great album. A Nightmare to Remember is a kick-ass song, and The Best of Times has by far my favorite solo of all time. Not just Dream Theater solo, but solo. That outro solo is beautiful, emotional, and absolutely insane. If you haven't heard the solo before, please do yourself the favor and listen to it. Alright, S tier. this one's changed quite a bit. I think I put it C tier last time. Now, I need to put it on S tier. A dramatic turn of events. A fucking kick-ass album. I love so many of the songs on this album compared to last time, which I had barely listened to any of them. But right now, the 4 songs in particular on this album that I like, Lost Not Forgotten, This Is the Life, Breaking All Illusions, and Beneath the Surface are 4 of my favorite ones to listen to at the moment. I listen to Breaking All Illusions every time I go to the store, which is 5 to 6 times a week. I thoroughly enjoyed the songs, and I think I very much underappreciated the album last time I ranked this list. I've changed my mind a lot when it comes to that album. Alright, next album, Images and Words. Now, I don't think you can make a Dream Theater list without putting Images and Words on the S tier list. It might not be their very best album, but it certainly is one of their best. And probably their most influential album, considering songs like Pull Me Under, which became their only mainstream successful song, as well as Metropolis Part 1, which inspired arguably their best album, Metropolis Part 2. This album in general is beautiful, combining several unique genres, such as jazz and ballads with Another Day, and their standard progressive metal, or their classical progressive metal style rather, in Metropolis Part 1, as well as a pretty epic heavy metal style in Under a Glass Moon. Also, if you haven't heard the solo in Under a Glass Moon, please do yourself the favor and listen to that one as well. It's absolutely amazing. Alright, next album, Octavarium. Now, this one is also just a beautiful album. I absolutely adore some of the songs. Even the songs that are considered to be quote-unquote weak songs, or, you know, the worst songs on the album, like These Walls, I absolutely love. And the way the album is constructed is very interesting. Utilizing a octave in I can't remember whether it was a minor or major scale, but an octave, and just making every song the next step in the octave, which I think is brilliant. And Octavarium, the title song of the album, is just the perfect way to end the album, in my opinion. There's a reason why many people consider it to be their absolutely best song. It's because it is an absolute masterpiece of progressive metal. Alright, and my last album... Oops, wrong place. Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory. Now, last time I think I put it on B or A tier, I can't remember. I realized how wrong I was. This time around, I realized how very wrong I was. After listening through the album for several hours, several times, in the past couple of months, I've realized that most songs, if not all songs on this album, are beautiful. Scene 9, Finally Free, is probably up there with my top 3 favorite Dream Theater songs. The Dance of Eternity is, as I said previously, if not my favorite instrumental, my second favorite instrumental. I love how they utilized a chord progression at several points throughout their album, giving flashbacks to previous songs in the album and the previous song to the album, Metropolis Part 1, and utilizing melodies that they've already used or that they will use again. I think this album is just so brilliantly constructed, as well as telling a pretty good story, in my opinion. I really underestimated this album, and I regret it. I'm sorry, but that's a kick-ass album. Alright, I think that'll be it for today. If you disagree with my list, please let me know down below what you think, and whatever you would change, please let me know that as well. And if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to hit the like button and share it. I wouldn't mind that. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.